let's talk about weddings for a minute. You know, everybody has their own idea on how to do it, you know, based on their own family traditions, you know, and in my opinion, the biggest mistake you can make when planning a wedding, unless it's both what you agree on and what you're both actually happy with, is doing what somebody else expects you to do for your own wedding. I've seen a lot of people, you know, not happy with the way their wedding turned out. This is because they followed somebody else's expectations of how the wedding needs to be. I'm sorry, personally, if you want to be happy with the way your wedding is, do it the way you want to, not the way somebody else says it needs to be done. If you don't want to follow tradition and stick with tradition on it, then fucking don't. Man, get happy. Get married the way you want to. Be happy with it. Me and Natalie are doing our wedding in a Halloween-y type way on Halloween because it's what we both agree on and what we would like to do. I myself personally am sick of white weddings. I think they're irritating, they're blank, they're annoying, and they're all pretty much the same. Yes, occasionally you get the one, you know, rednecky white trash person that gets drunk at the wedding and makes a complete ass out of themselves. Hey, you know what? That's always actually kind of fun to watch. You know, as long as it's not overboard. But, you know, weddings are supposed to be, you know, fun and beautiful. And you get a lot of people that will say, well, it's, you know, the woman's special day. It's her day. This right here is probably going to piss a lot of people off, but I disagree. That's bullshit. It is yours and the person you are marrying's day. It's not devoted and dedicated to just one specific person. That is horseshit. You know, it's you both should actually sit and plan the wedding you plan to do. Now, if, you know, the one person, you know, if the man or whatever, whatnot, doesn't want to be involved in the planning of it, hey, you know what, that's fine, whatever. Do yourself a favor later on if you didn't want to be a part of it. Don't bitch about how everything looks. If you want to be a part of it, step up, say something, and be a part of it. I plan on having a big role in the creation and planning of ours. You know, and a lot of people say, well, it's just weird when a man sits there and tries to help plan it. No, it's not. Not if you can both agree on shit. I mean, yes, everybody has their different views on what they want and what they would like, but you know what? There's always a way to combine two ideas to make an actual good wedding. You know, I don't really know how to deal with a lot of people that, you know, after the wedding, they're pissed off and upset because it didn't turn out the way that they wanted it to because, well, they thought doing this and this because somebody else wants them to is a good idea. No, it's not. Unless you actually like the idea and want to go with it, don't do it. I've seen a lot of people that I actually know get married, hate their weddings. They won't look at the pictures, they won't watch the video, because it's not how they wanted it to be. They were too busy following what mommy and daddy wanted at their wedding. I'm sorry, personally, yes, it's your child getting married to somebody else. That does not make it your fucking business to tell them what they can or cannot do at their own wedding. It's like us, okay? Yeah, we're going to have our Halloween dress-up type wedding, okay? If people don't like it, fine. They don't need to fucking show up. And, you know, there are actually technically already several people that are not going to be invited at all. They won't even receive the save the dates. We're also not going to have an open bar or alcohol at the fucking wedding. We don't need anybody getting drunk and bitching and moaning. People that throw hissy fits and temper tantrums at the wedding or try to basically showboat it and make the day about them, their ass is gone. They're not going to be there and they're not going to be able to see it. We have yet to actually decide if we were going to record it or not. You know, I might have it recorded just so we can put it up, you know, so I can put it up on here. Personally, I think that would actually be a pretty cool wedding thing to watch over and over, just because, you know, we're hoping we get the right people to come in to do the makeup that I want done for me because, well, I plan on being, a corpse. Somebody actually brought it to my attention the other day when we were talking about it, is it's kind of going to be almost similar to a reversal of the Corpse Bride. Instead of Natalie being, the dead corpse bride, she's going to be the one that's going to look all pretty or however she wants to. And I'm going to be the one that's going to be, in tattered, torn, blood-soaked clothing, with flesh peeling off, whatever. We haven't fully arranged down to what exactly I want to do yet. Well, when it comes to shit like that, I'm indecisive. I want it to be perfect. That's all that matters to me. But, there's a lot of people that'll sit there and say, well, we had to do this and that for our wedding because it was expected of us. You know what? If somebody's telling you what you have to do for your wedding, bitch slap them and tell them to shut their mouth. Because, honestly, it's not their place to tell you what makes you happy. Only you and your partner can decide what is going to make you happy for the wedding. If you're both happy following tradition and kissing mommy and daddy's ass for what the wedding is going to be, hey, that's great. Personally, me, I'm not. If anybody has an issue with how we're going to do our wedding, fuck them. It's not their wedding. It's not their day. Therefore, they don't have a say or a place to say shit about how we're going to do it. And I'm sure a lot of people will agree with that, and a lot of people are going to say I'm being harsh. But you know what? It's your happiness. You're the one that has to live with how this is done for the rest of your life. Yeah, you could get divorced and then have another wedding, but guess what? Your first wedding, no matter what you do, nothing's ever going to top the first one. That's the one that's going to be branded in your head for the rest of your life. Unless you suddenly come down with, an early case of Alzheimer's, and then, hey, some days you'll remember it, some days you won't, some days you're going to think you're a fucking peacock. Who knows? Be happy. Do what you want to do with your wedding. If somebody's saying you need to do this and this with your wedding and you don't like it, don't go with it just to shut them up. Tell them straight out, no, this is my wedding. I don't like that idea. I want to do what I want to do. Originally, I'd had it all thought out that I wanted to do basically Black Ages medieval type wedding. Crossbows, maces, flails, armor, a castle, the whole damn thing. And then I got to thinking, well, I'm not a millionaire. That'd be an expensive ass wedding. Weddings are expensive all on their own anyway. You just basically prepare, save and prepare. If you're one of them people, you're happy with a quick run to the courthouse and get married, hey, cool. I'm not going to bash on what anybody wants, but seriously, if you're doing your wedding to fill other people's expectations just so they don't bitch, I'm sorry, but this is where I will, knock you down a notch. You're a moron. Don't do it to make somebody else happy. Don't plan it to please other people. Who gives a shit? It's your day, your wedding. As long as you and your spouse agree on it, who gives a shit what other people think? Just take lots of pictures. And if there's a drunken, disorderly part to it, hey man, post that shit up. I want to view it. I think it's funny when people make asses of themselves. Which I'm actually fairly certain a lot of people think of me for making, some of these videos. Later on, I can tell you, they're probably going to get a little more hostile, depending on, the subject. This right here is just mild, but, that's just because I view you should be happy at your expense, at your convenience. Don't let anybody else tell you that they need you to do this and this for you to be happy. Bullshit. If you find something and a way to do things that are making you happy, do it that way. Life isn't supposed to be lived up to other people's expectations. Not especially when it comes to love. Yeah, there's somebody that doesn't quite approve of me and Natalie being together. And personally, in my opinion, it's his own damn fault because he won't sit down to get to know me. Oh, because, ooh, I don't have a job. Well, you know what? I may not have a job, but at least I have an idea in my head on what I want to complete. And technically, trying to become an author is a full-time job, so suck it. Now, if you're one of these people and you are getting married, or you're engaged and you're planning it all, congratulations. Make it the happiest and best day you ever can. Don't let anybody else say that they want it done this way because it'll make them happy. Worry about you and what your spouse wants. It's the only thing that should matter in that. Yeah, get people to help you pull it off and all that, but in the end, as long as you're happy with it, that's all that counts.